Hi, guys. We are live today. We are live. We are on a Wednesday of East. We are talking about heart space. We are a little bit more than a week away from our next upcoming retreat online and in Chicago. If you are here or anywhere, you can partake. It, of course, will be usually a little challenging. Can I have time? Do I feel it? Feel a little tension? The intention of to awaken, to open up more. And thus, sometimes the natural response would be feeling a little resistance. Not for everyone, but for some. Or feel that like you don't really have time. Because time is a luxury. We kind of want to own the time, but we have kind of become a slave of time. We're slaves of time. So to kind of become free of time, to tap into the ease of life is to kind of realize that there is a flow of time. There's a harmony to kind of come in and join this because there's a guidance here that is needed. There's a guidance needed because we have a tendency to get lost. So, and most of us don't even know it until we suddenly meet a lot of resistance from life, whether it's family, kids, husband or wife, job, your parents, your girlfriends, society. So those are parts of resistance that kind of shows how kind of free you really are. It's easy to be like, when people talk about woke, you have kind of come to a level of freedom where you feel like, ooh, you know, I'm taken care of. I figured it out. I bought some land. I got some inheritance. I have some money. And yet we can kind of get stuck in resistance to stuff because we still have areas around us where we kind of have been kind of brainwashed, unknowingly brainwashed. We've been led out into philosophies that are more war-like. And thus the ego is like constantly in war with somebody. You might be in war with me or with anyone around you that you feel like they don't understand you, or it's like a competition. So that is the reason for retreats, to kind of and to dare to tune in and to allow yourself to surrender, because to dare to move beyond the ego and open up to that flow is something that you can't just do, because doing becomes the ego. I'm going to fix. Some people talked about like the when people talk about mindfulness, or like a lot of people that be like, well, can't you just think how am I supposed to think? Can I think like this, or should I say this, or should I not say shall or should? Or there's all these different techniques of the mind, but then that also becomes, it feels enlightening for a while, and then it kind of limits you still. People don't necessarily realize that most techniques are limiting in nature. It is uplifting you. It's telling you, okay, don't do this. So it gives you a certain feeling of freedom, of security. But then gradually, the more secure you feel, then it becomes limiting, because you stop growing, you stop daring to realize true freedom. So that's where the heart space comes in. Because when you look at the body, we can be centered kind of in our generals, in our power. It's like the most basic of nature. And you can you get that energy moving by you have sex, you create a baby, or you kind of flirt, you kind of go out and do stuff, you move through stuff. I need to figure out and do the right pieces. It's very basic, and it gives you satisfaction for a little while. But your body has the potential to kind of open up and go from that kind of basic centered place to like more of an uplifted space. So this is where the heart space is. It's more around the heart area. And you can see it more naturally happening in a woman when we open up. What's going on here? Oh, that was weird. Okay, there we are. Got a little stuck here. So in the woman, instinctively, in the physical, in the flesh, when you create a child, you bring that energy from the sexual energy, the creation, and then you bring the baby up to your bosom, to the heart. It's not so much the creation, is almost like, how do you care for the child? You embrace it, you hold it in your arm. That's the heart space. The heart space is the embrace that we can do, that naturally comes. So the heart space naturally comes like the few first years of living. You just kind of effortlessly hold a child. You just create the atmosphere of just heart, of love. Then, as you can't continue to hold the baby, you have to let the baby go. And then thus they start to kind of want love, but then they start to be like, should I get love from my friends or boyfriend or you wanted? And then all these rules and all these stuff comes out. The ego takes over. All our ideas about love, ideas about the heart, ideas about life. So then we kind of lose touch with it, because the heart it can be uplifted, but then in the moment you get rejected, you a lot of times feel like you kind of plummet down. You drop the ball. So here in this space, we are creating a heart space to open the body up naturally, which is more of a feminine energy. It's to open up to love. Open up to the heart. Ooh, it blinked. So in that space, but since we have lost the connection to love, we have not been able to rest in our mother's bosom. We already kind of have, we have kind of lost, we have been, what's going on? Hold on a second. Because we've already experienced that we can't just rest, we can't just be accepted for who we are, we can't just receive. So then we start remembering that you can start expecting that's wondering, do they love me, do they not, how do I fix it, how do I secure love? And thus that's when we are naturally in this space, and the body, the natural thing that we can allow this energy to come up into our heart space. And that's where we kind of create the retreats and the natural play, the resting space for the body. With intention, we can have a heart space. But as we get uplifted, we will also get lost sometimes, because we kind of expect to be rejected. We expect to not have it all the time. We expect that we need to do something. We need to manipulate something. We need to seduce something. We need to have it. We need to be greedy about it. So we get easily pulled back into our power spot, where it's more all these greed, have, control, instead of remaining pure and true to the heart space. So a lot of people can feel sometimes uplifted when you drink, or when you party, or when you have sex, or when you have a boyfriend. Sometimes you feel very connected. So you're in that heart space, but then you automatically think this will fade. You automatically think this will fade. So we have kind of grown into the faith of have no faith. We have lost trust in our heart space. And thus, automatically, we are gradually always just running for that space, and we're kind of like expecting it to disappear. So that has become our programming. That's the ego. It expects disasters that is not going to last. So here it is that we're kind of opening up again and again, and daring to kind of open and clean out this ego, daring to have faith, daring to show up for it, daring to choose it. And in that space, we can start to settle. It becomes an uplifted body. It's not just like sunk like an old person who just like stiff. It actually, like, we're actually activating energy. We're activating life. We're activating our soul. And we are allowing this to kind of be our new place of nurture. So we're allowing our inner energy to be a place where we can choose to be here, and we just don't have to analyze everything. There's a faith-based, there's a showing up base. So it requires a sense of maturity, because it's easier in society to wanting to help you and fix you and care for you, but not to realize that you have to dare to also have the freedom to be uplifted. Here we kind of open up that you have to choose to be uplifted. Most societies do not talk about this, because that means that we are responsible for our own life, that we can choose life. We can choose to be good and love and enjoy life, whatever happens to us. We can enjoy life just as it is now. Every one of us are just where we are supposed to be. It's a growing process. Love, the heart space, a growing process, because it takes time to understand it, to connect with it. So sometimes we will feel like we're failing, and we want to just give up. And we have to, because we have to understand that faith and trust, then we also have to experience mistrust. And mistrust is what we kind of we believe in, because we have lost trust ever since we were little. We have kind of lost that bosom connection, that connection to the mother, connection to that unconscious or unconditional love, that heart space. So then we've gone into protection. We kind of hold on to too much weight in our chest and our bottoms or bosom, in our butt, wherever we are, in our belly, because we're kind of protecting ourselves instead of allowing the energy to flow. So it is a beautiful journey. It's just there has to be some part of you that is called to dare to walk this journey of being vulnerable, not to understand everything, because your mind will all automatically take over and you become too smart. You'll be like, oh, I understand this. Well, whenever you understand it, you're probably not totally correct. It's not about the mind understanding it, is about connection to it. And then when you're connected to it, your mind doesn't have to understand it. It's just there. It's like when you're in love with somebody, you don't have to understand with the mind, it just happens. It's like with the mother or father just holding the baby, it's just natural. The heart space is just natural. So it takes time to dare to just be natural again. And so that's what we're doing. So that's why we're opening up, and that's why we have these retreats once in a while, whether it's in the flesh or online, to kind of remember, because we will sometimes feel like we're failing, because it will challenge every bone in your body. Every cell in your body will sometimes scream, no, no, no. I'm about to go to rehab. And I said, no, no. Anyway, let's step into the second part, like we should do whether you're here first time or not. We're doing a first part talking, opening up the energy, and a second part, which is you're kind of sitting back in your chair like I do, and just kind of letting yourself kind of relax, closing your eyes so you can lay down wherever you are. And this is kind of also part of like, yeah, it's starting to move the energy towards the retreat. It kind of started last week, and it's setting the intention. So you might wonder, like, do I want this retreat or not, or does it fit into my schedule? So sit your ass back, and this retreat is called Walking into Life. It was kind of, this book is coming up, Walking the Ease of Life. I haven't brought it out for a while, but it's time to bring it back into earth. We're stepping into it, walking into it. So while you close your eyes, I will read a little chapter. It's called Opening Up, page 88. We do open at times. It is when we feel love, and suddenly the world makes sense. To open up is to feel love. It is to feel connection. It is to feel unity. This openness is natural, yet, as it remains incomprehensible, we deem it mysterious. So we go looking for it at times, and we will find it at times, yet other times we don't. So we leave it be, wounded, thinking it to be impossible. But what is impossible is but highly possible. It is just also requires patience and perseverance. And it is not always supposed to appear, as we also need to experience rejection and being confused and lonely. So dare to open, as it will lead you on a journey worth discovering. This is the journey we're doing. We're allowing this energy to move into our system, to come and open this body up from all its woundedness and rejectionness into a love space, into a heart space. So close your eyes if they're not already closed, or remain open, but open to the whole space, your house, your windows, the outside, the sun or the clouds, the shine. And then it comes in, it vibrates in your whole body, tingles in your whole body. Just drop your shoulders down and kind of allow it to kind of come in to your space, into your heart space, down past your heart space, into your hips, which is also a heart space, which the whole body can become a heart space. And it drops into your legs, into your feet, back in your back of your head, out in your shoulders, out in your arms. The bigger heart space, the embrace of feminine, like the mother's embrace of a child. Gentle and loving and kind and effortless and without thinking. And let it come up again from the floor, from the ground, from the earth, filling your chest, filling your head, filling the space around you, and dissipating, just like a breath. And like a yawn, you just kind of waking again up your eyes and coming back into the space. Beautiful. Shake it loose. Breathe out. And if you're here for the first time or for the last time, thank you for your contributions, your donations. That is also appreciated, as it is a giving and a receiving the gift of life, the gift of wisdom. And yeah, if you're new and you're wondering about the retreat coming up, look, you can always DM me or like and subscribe on YouTube here. And yeah, it is starting. We're moving towards it, so there might be some energies coming up as it's closing in and your body's starting to prepare for the gift of retreat. So until then, or probably until next time, or to next Wednesday, or before, have a beautiful day. And we will talk again soon. Bye.